welcome to this video tutorial brought to you by Crayon. My name is Craig Reynolds, and today we don't actually have a tutorial. We are going to have a getting started guide for all you beginners because I know how hard it can be to get started, and it can be overwhelming. So let's follow through. This is going to be a two-part tutorial. First off, we're going to get started with the tools. So let's jump right in. The first tool we got here is the Move tool. And I'll show you how you can use that. You're just going to double click on that to unlock it. Move tool, basically the layer that's selected, you can move it. Pretty straightforward, right? Underneath that we have our marquee tools, rectangular marquee, elliptical marquee tool, single row and single column. I don't use either of the single row or single column just because I don't see a use for them. Use those for selecting like a certain, say I have this square, I want to select this, and that's the only area I want to make an adjustment to. I come to my color balance, make it red, add some yellow. It's going to change just that specific area. Okay? And I will be moving fast, so bear with me, please. You can do the same thing with the elliptical. And below it, we have the lasso tool. Polygonal lasso tool, and magnetic lasso tool. Regular lasso tool is free form, so you can draw around a shape. It's not going to snap to anything. It's just going to be free form. That's only going to be really good around objects that don't have very much detail, or if you're using a pen tablet. The polygonal tool, however you want to pronounce it, again, has straight edges, straight lines. I tend not to use it very much. I feel pen tool is a lot better with that. And then the magnetic lasso tool is going to snap to certain points. So if you're trying to cut out and render this character or something, it's going to match up the previous color. So if you're attaching to a black, it's going to attach to another black or a shade of black or something close to it, a dark color. And mess around with that. Great tool to use to cut objects out. Then we have the quick selection tool and the magic wand. Quick selection tool, basically you drag stuff across and it selects that area based upon the color and the tolerance of what you want. Magic wand is very similar to that, except with magic wand, let me grab it here, you click and it just selects a certain section. You can't drag it. As you see, I'm trying to drag it. It doesn't work. So if you want to select multiple items, you have to shift click. Okay? And below that, crop tool. I'm not going to go over that. Everyone knows a crop tool. If you don't know what a crop tool is, I'm sorry. I'm not going to go over that. Actually, I will just in case. Crop tool. There you go. I just selected that area. I know it's kind of fast, but you just drag it out. I want this portion there. And you hit enter. There you go. That's all you got to do. Below that, we have slice tool and slice select tool. That is usually for developing websites in Photoshop, because you can't just take a Photoshop document and take it into Dreamweaver and make a website with it. No, you have to cut out each individual element. Your main content box, your buttons, and all that. So that's what that tool is for. Maybe I'll do a tutorial later on that. Maybe I will do one of those one of these days. Build a website for y'all. Underneath that eyedropper tool, you want to select a specific tool. Specific color. Push I as a hotkey. There you go. You look in your color palette down here, and that's the color we selected. Below that is your healing brush and your spot healing brush. Spot healing brush will basically take the colors around it, and it's hard to explain. So let me just show you real quick. So we have our spot healing tool, and I want, I'm just coloring right there. Well, that didn't really do much. You see, if I had another item, I'm getting flustered now. Let's see here. I have the brush tool, because I gotta show you this, so you know. Okay, so I have this blue line here. If we go ahead and get our spot healing brush and go like this, put a line through it or on the top, it's going to correct it to match the artboard around it. If we use The healing brush, you actually have to alt-click a certain area, and then you can go wherever you want and draw it out, and it's going to make it look like that other section you have. And then there's red eye tool. Obvious, you got a photo with some red eyes. You drag that around the red part, and it'll correct it. Brush tool, don't really need to go into that. Art history tool, some of y'all may not know how to use this or may not even know what it is. It's really great, especially when you're getting started. Say I erase this section here, and it's like I didn't want to erase that. You grab this history brush, and let me make this bigger, and I'll just drag right over this section, and it fills it all in for me. Everything I erase, it's going to fill it all back in for me. So it's a really good tool. Eraser tool, magic eraser tool. Eraser tool is fairly simple. You erase everything. Magic eraser, it's going to select based on your tolerance. Tolerance. The default is 72. Mess around with that. The lower it is, the closer it has to resemble the color you click on. The further away, the more colors it's going to click on. So if you have 255, it's basically going to erase everything. But you see a click there, it erases everything that has similar colors. Below that, gradient tool, paint bucket tool, pretty straightforward there. Then you have your blur tool, sharpen and smudge. Those are good for touching up photos. We have dodge and burn. Dodge tool is going to lighten your object. So we got our dodge tool. Well, that's not a dodge tool. This is the burn tool. This is too big with a brush, but it'll darken, as you can see. And the dodge tool will lighten. Use that to get really good pictures. I can't stress it enough. Those are two most tools you will use when you're touching up a photo, because those are really gonna increase your lighting and really help you a lot. Pen tool. If you use Illustrator, you're trying to get used to using Illustrator, or you want to use Illustrator, use the pen tool. Learn how to use it. Use its path. It's all vector. You can resize it and all that. And then you have the selection tools to go with that. So you have path selection tool, direct selection tool. Those are how you move these around. So, move that whole path. Or I can just move one anchor of it. So, click, and then you can move the handles, each individual handle and all that stuff. Mess around with that. Shape tool, pretty straightforward there. But that's going to do it for this one, for this tutorial here. Look out for part 2. I'll try to get it uploaded as soon as possible. But until then, comment, subscribe, give me some feedback, and I'll get that one up in just a minute.